Alright, we're back. Really quickly, what do you need to know about this? Well, you need to know that American presidency was basically run by the Republicans from 1920 to 1932. The Harding administration, the Cooling administration, were really laissez-faire governments where the government was committed to not really doing much, not getting involved in the economy, and merely letting capitalism run its course. There was some involvement in the Harding administration, but that was mostly through scandals and corruption. But Harding himself was never found guilty of anything. He died while in office and was replaced by Coolidge, who believed that the business of America was business. Hoover, who we'll have more to say about later, has gone down in history as one of America's worst presidents. That's perhaps unfair. He was blamed for a lot of the errors and problems that they were caused by the Great Depression. As we'll see later on, though, he did try to intervene. He wasn't as cold and calculated as some believe that he was. Ironically, though, he did say in the beginning of his presidency that he felt that America was nearer than ever to the triumph over poverty and material want. The key thing to realize about this society we're looking at is that this undoubtedly was an era of mass consumerism, mass entertainment. The America that we recognize today really began to take shape in the 1920s. This was an exciting era that perhaps owes the name Roaring Twenties to it because of the new opportunities that people had to buy cars, appliances, literally anything that they wanted, because a lot of it was made available on cheap and easy credit. Very similar to our own consumer society today, where the majority of our purchases are bought on credit. People back then could buy radios and moving pictures, electric appliances, automobiles, and of course all these things were sold through mass marketing and really clever and slick advertising campaigns. Few people really symbolized the 1920s better than Henry Ford or Alfred Sloan, who headed Ford and Chrysler respectively. Sorry, not Chrysler, but General Motors. Ford revolutionized the manufacturing in the United States by introducing the automated assembly line, which reduced costs and reduced the time required to build things. This allowed Ford to make his Model T cars affordable for the average family. He also showed that higher wages would allow workers to buy more products and create more consumer demand. However, the fallacy of this was that if the production could never keep up, that people would lose jobs, as we'll see what happened in the 1930s. Similarly, Alfred Sloan was very revolutionary in the way that he marketed General Motors cars. He believed that the primary object of his corporation was to make money, not just to make cars. Again, we sort of see the unquestioned faith in capitalism and the quest for profits over all else in American society in this time. Here we see a Model T Ford being assembled on a Ford assembly line. We see a classic Model T Ford. Again, the object was to get one of these in the garage of every American. Nothing really changed American society more, I think, than the automobile, especially over the last 80 to 100 years. These were the symbol of the new consumer society. Their use exploded in the 1920s. Critics pointed out how these cars potentially eroded morality of Americans. Teens could go out in brothels on wheels, or portable bedrooms as some called them, as they were unchaperoned. Some claim that they even led to a decline in church attendance. Either way, it's certain that the car transformed American landscape. If you think about the amount of highways that were built, the reduction of use of mass transit like trains, the expansion of cities as people could live further and further outside the cities, and just the general pollution, congestion, and all the other ills in terms of public health that came with the automobile. Later on in this course, we'll decide whether or not the automobile and the pursuit of the American dream in the post-war era, after 1945, was really an American dream or a disaster for future generations. But it wasn't just the automobile. There was telephones, electricity. All of these things contributed to the general prosperity and growth of the American economy. Americans changed the way they ate, they changed the way they conducted labor, although far from liberating women, appliances and all these new gadgets just imposed new standards and really didn't improve their lifestyle.